This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production.
On your marks, get set, play.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Welcome back to the tent. It's Crimpeticia. It's Great British Bake Off Podcast. I'm here with the homies Nick, Joe.
Nationwide. The other side.
And that's Big Ant in the
I
building.
can remember from a very small child a Fruity Pebble commercial that I can still sing by heart right now.
I can spit every one of them
Yeah.
bars. Barney Rubble to the fullest. Never sleep on his skills. Our series, this is series 14, it's episode 3. It's Bread Week, a whopping 67 minutes long. I love that they don't play.
It was
Like,
a
you getting
juicy
all
one.
your bake off.
Mhm.
Yes, it was. Yet another fun opening. A delight. Matt and Allison sitting and she asking them questions. Has anyone ever been injured from a Hollywood handshake?
I'm not at liberty to say.
I'm like, yeah, that's good shit. Thank you for that. Thank you that. You know what it is, man. I'm saying as we get the party started, I'm saying we do a little news first because I like, it's news, but it's news from the realm of baking. So I'm never going to try to bring out anything terrible. It's always going to be something light and fun and worth your while. So and we happen to call that particular segment Bakers Make the World Go Round. Bakers make the world go round. They do, people. I'm not front when I tell you that. Put some respect on Baker's name. Also want y'all to know the version that they hear, that these like my co-hosts hear, is not the version you hear. I always edit in the full fat version. But they need to hear it because I feel it brings something to the table. We did it once. One week I forgot to do it, and it just wasn't the same. I want
The
you to know
first
that.
week we was back.
Yeah. This piece I thought was pretty dope. I follow a few bakers from Great American Baking Show on IG, and one of them posted this, was like, "Yo, check this out. This is from the good people over Food and Wine. Martin Sorge on the byline. You don't remember that? The winner of the Great American Baking Show.
Yes.
5 things I learned from competing on the Great American Baking Show. Being nice and focusing on your strengths will get you far on this show. Love it. When I was selected to compete on the most recent season of the Great American Baking Show streaming on the Roku channel, I had no idea what to expect. As a fan of both the American and British versions, I feel like that's a lie, but I'm going to let you get that off, Martin, because nobody was a fan of the American version of the show. I was awestruck even before I got there. We filmed in the iconic white baking tent in England for judges Paul Hollywood and Prue Leith. Walking into the tent for the first episode felt like I had stepped into my television. I'd seen that set so many times, but now it was quiet without that lovely music by Tom Howell playing in the background. Then I spotted the bench set up with the ingredients for me. When I looked over and saw the other bakers had on their benches, I was a bit intimidated. We didn't meet the host or judges until camera started rolling. No way.
Wow.
And out they came. I tried to take several deep breaths through the huge grin on my face. Then the host uttered the magic words. I had to focus somehow. What happened next was up to me. It was incredible to compete and to win my season of the show. Here's what the experience in the tent taught me. And I'm not going to read you all of this. It's kind of a lengthy one, but I will give you a few. It's practically an endurance sport. Being a contestant on the Great American Baking Show was a mental and physical feat. Baking anything for 4.5 hours nonstop requires athletic endurance. I I admire every single professional baker and cook out there. Conceptualizing and planning your bakes takes creativity, problem solving, strategy, and lots of math. The time constraints for each challenge are so tight that the bakers have to move as fast as possible while staying accurate every step of the way. Accuracy will come up later in this very discussion. You must be very coordinated. Try frantically making macarons in 90 minutes with zero instructions. Then suddenly, Kimmy Schmidt herself, Ellie Kemper, comes to talk to you. After that challenge, I had no clue what I said to her. Filming days start very early and are long. They leave you physically, mentally, and emotionally drained, but then you have to wake up and do it all again and again and again if you're lucky. But like sports, it's also incredibly exciting, exhilarating, and rewarding, which is what I remember most. It was one of the most challenging and most fun things I've ever done. Here we go. I'll get this last paragraph again. There's some stuff in between here and there. They will be in your show notes. You can go read the rest of the article. Yes, it really is that nice. In contrast to many other baking competition shows, the Great British and Great American Baking shows give you the warm fuzzies. People love it when competitors help each other. Fans have asked me, is everyone really that nice? Absolutely. Why is it so nice? Because they cast the loveliest, most down-to-earth folks, and you're competing for a cake plate and prize. That's it.
Mhm.
There's no cash prize. I think the lack of potentially winning a pot of money or a kitchen makeover changes the vibe.
Mhm.
My fellow contestants became cherished friends. We helped each other throughout the competition and still message each other every day. Sometimes a baker needed an extra hand to hold something or troubleshoot during a challenge, and another baker always came to the rescue. In the frantic minutes of the first Showstopper challenge, I helped Sarah attach a sign to her cookie sculpture for our beloved Chicago L. The sign read "Home," which made me tear up. If something needed an ingredient and another baker had extra, they'd run it over to their bench. Okay, there we go. The bakers, the crew, the hosts, the judges, yes, even steely-eyed Paul Hollywood are incredibly lovely. It's a full competition unlike any other. I left that unforgettable experience with incredible memories, lifelong friendships, and spoiler, a cake plate that I'll always treasure. Bruh. I did not read this beforehand. I just pulled it and was ready to read it, and now I just want to go shake this man's hand.
It just really reminds me of why I love the show so much. And I think a little bit in reviewing the show, I've started to lean to the critical. And I'm like, no, I don't want to lose the joy and the warmth of why I love this show.
It's why I my first watch is like a bear watch. I'm not thinking about notes. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just kicking
Watching the show.
Be some bake off.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other viewing is real down of me typing up notes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when it gets a little more sincere. But I'm always just having first and foremost a good time to be had. And I love this show, and I love what we provide, because I think we provide something extra, and I think our take is unique.
Yes.
But first and foremost, it's just a good time to be had. And some weeks I'm mad, like I am this week. And that's all it is. I got another story for y'all later. I'll pull it out later as we get into it. I find it interesting, and when we get to that part of the discussion, I will pull that story out. So you got another Bakers Make the World, but it's like it'll be a little later show, and also in your show notes. But let's get to the 10th.
Would that be a different world? It's a different world. Ooh.
Our remaining 10 bakers in the tent this series are Miss Abby Lawson, Ms. Christy Sharp, Dan Cazador, Dana Conway, John Smalley, Maddie Edgel, Nikki Lasaby, Rowan Claughton, Saku Chandra Sakara, and Tasha Stone. Our signature this week, a cottage loaf, 2.75 hours to complete. A cottage loaf is a traditional type of bread originating in England. The loaf is characterized by its shape, which is essentially that of two round loaves, one on top of the other, with the upper one being smaller.
I don't bake. 2 hours and 45 minutes? It's a long time.
It is, but it's like having to prove, I guess, basically.
Is it the double proof? Mm.
Yeah. It's probably just involved enough that I'm like, okay, I'm glad you gave him the time. Christy, is who they introduced us to first, was going with dried cranberry, chopped walnut, and rosemary, made with a multi-grain flour. Saku, cinnamon and orange, made with Sri Lankan cinnamon. She was super proud of the Sri Lankan cinnamon. She was like, that cinnamon's from home. And I'm like, hey,
Like, we got the best motherfucking cinnamon on the planet.
We the best.
Yeah. She was like me talking about weed on skim.
Tasha with roast garlic and rosemary with sunflower and poppy seeds. And like, she was wild hype. She's like, I'm about to do this, man. Ain't nobody coming out here on this rosemary garlic game. And then everybody did. Dan, here we go. Wild garlic, rosemary, and smoked bacon for his main loaf, and wild garlic pesto for the smaller loaf. I guess he used wild garlic. So that's a little bit of a little something. I can't tell you what wild garlic look like or is doing, but hey,
it seems like at first they were like only Abby forages, but everybody seemed to do a little bit of their own foraging on the show.
For sure. And speaking of Abby went with smoked garlic and rosemary for her flavorings. Nikki, roasted garlic. See how this theme is going? Rosemary with a Scottish sea salt paste. Dana, Bradley Cooper. I don't respect everybody's names. And in fact, I didn't write most people's names down this week, but that one meant something to me.
Good look.
Chipotle chili paste, smoked cheddar, smoked paprika, and bacon. Right here, Allison and Saku fucking around playing some cricket. It's just too much fun, y'all. I love this show. I love the show. I love it.
I love Saku so much. She's like black auntie on steroids, and I just can't get enough of her.
Yeah. A delight. Rowan, olive and tomato loaf made with Kalamata olives, sun-dried tomatoes, and far too much flour. Good Lord. I
love me an olive loaf.
I have some olives in my fridge right now, and before it's all said and done, I may try to slide over there and grab them and show you to you. Vanessa's daddy got them for her from Costco, and they so good.
I love olives.
I don't move with olives like that, but these
really
ones,
give me everything. Olive loaf, just can of olives, jar of olives. Give me.
I already had a jar of olives in the fridge because she wanted a martini recently, and I was like, well, let me go get you some olives. So I'm going because she like it dirty, so got to put a little juice in it.
My sister, me too.
So it's already some. There are multiple olives in my fridge.
Please show me those olives because I want to make a orzo salad with some olives and feta.
Nice. I'm like I said, I'm gonna point them out to you. Them look at the little joints. You be like, okay, because they is fantastic. Josh, Nduja pizza cottage loaf made with Nduja sausage, and I was like, do they mean andouille? Like from Louisiana? But no, they did not. I was wrong when and then went to go research this. Nduja is a spicy spreadable pork sausage from the region of Calabria in southern Italy. It's similar to soprasada from the Balearic Islands in Spain to the Piedmontese Salam de la Dua, which is the Caribbean's contribution of many, which is Calabria's like deal, contributes many types of Italian salumi. It also originates from the area around the small Calabrian town of Spillinga. You just learned about Nduja. Honey, black olives, Gruyere, cheese, and some basil. Maddie went with olive and tomato loaf filled with green and black olives, sun-dried tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, and chili flakes. This is where they made they was going back and forth about ball size.
I'm not mature enough. I was giggling so hard.
My man Matt tried to hold it down.
He couldn't.
But then they go from that to showing people fingering a loaf.
Right.
And I'm just like, this is downright hilarious.
And the technical challenge to me looked like a booty crack.
A birthday booty
with like a thong.
I wrote in my notes here, Abby's Janice loaf just said nah.
She clocked out.
Something else on my notes. I love that Tasha has to use science, and I put that in quotes, in that she must use the temperature of the bread as opposed to the other bakers relies on the tap and listen method.
Oh, yeah.
Because she can't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's so dope that she can't just tap and, hold it up to her ear because that's not how her hearing functions. And that science,
wins out.
That science is science. And I'll just tell you that. I'll just tell you that. So Our judging is as follows. Saku's up front. Looks pretty good. Cut slightly awry. Good color and height. Good cinnamon smell. Orange is in the background, and the bread is slightly underproved. You're going to hear about underproved bread
all day,
the remainder of the day.
Yeah. I just don't find sweet bread appealing. Like every year somebody makes a chocolate bread and I'm like, wow.
Like you like fucking with like some, I don't know, some cinnamon raisin toast, something.
I eat it, but it's not like a blueberry bagel or like a cinnamon.
I don't like blueberry bagels.
Yeah, I don't like a blueberry bagel. I don't really like a cinnamon raisin bagel. Cinnamon raisin toast is but I don't want it.
So a cinnamon raisin in my thoughts, and y'all can tell me, listeners, and y'all can tell me, my people, cinnamon raisin bagel, but you put some egg and cheese on that bitch. Some salt doing it, dude.
That's very that's some cannabis cuisine.
I used to we had a spot when we worked in downtown Cleveland, we had a spot that I would hit up in the morning for that shit, and they would hook it, and
that sounds bomb.
Fry my eggs just right, and it was good.
When we went to Outback just recently, I'm like, can you bring me some regular butter? Like,
honey. I just butter.
Butter. I can't. It's just like the bread is already sweet. Let me get some saltiness going.
Yeah.
Now the one exception is the rolls at Texas Roadhouse. That
is what I meant, not Outback.
Smiggity smash.
I got.
You had. They are kind of already sweetened.
Yeah.
And then of course, they bring you that honey butter, and it's like,
that's my only exception.
You can go hard on it for a little bit, and then you be like, I've had my fill.
Emory was over the moon. He was just like, I found my place. I was like, I don't need entree. I don't need nothing else. But I'm like, let me just get some regular.
He's like, and I could throw these peanuts on the floor. Let's go.
Maddie, what they say about Maddie? Certainly rustic. Cuts made it go all over the place.
He straight up cut it with a knife. He was like, what is that you using? Like, fuck it.
Which is why in my notes I wrote, always a razor, never the knife. Doesn't look bad. A lot of filling, but it works. Nothing overpowering the other. And the chili arrives to escort you on your way out. Lovely. People, if you're making bread, get you a bread razor. They make them like you'll if you watch stuff, so you'll see Nikki use one, and I think she called it a scythe. But also you can just go get you $1.50 and just that's your bacon razor and use it to cut your bread properly. Your knife is never going to be sharper than that razor. Just trust. Dana, her loaf split due to what? Underproving. A great bake, however, noticeably. Nice looking crumb to my eyes, at least. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good looking bake. Certainly cheesy. The smokiness comes through. The chipotle as well. A bit doughy, but the flavors are good. I told you this man had so much dough. Rowan, it looks monstrous.
Damn.
Structure spot on. Great color. Olives on point. Tomato not so much for Paul, though Prue says she does taste tomato. The little S's don't add anything. Just go.
They looked crazy. Yeah, fix your bread. We don't need this.
Yeah. Christy, good color, nice cuts, looks really appetizing. Needs salt. A bit bland, but a decent loaf. But I want you to know something, man. I got people telling me my food needs salt. And I know you can't really test bread. You can't just take a little nibble to see if it's salty enough. But I don't know, man. Just season your food, people.
Meanwhile, Nikki.
We'll get there. Oh, shit. You know what? I skipped right over Nikki. Nikki, dense and nothing but salt because she used a sea salt paste as a part of the recipe. And it was like, I'll just sprinkle a little more in this bitch.
She was tripping. Yeah. She narrated her downfall. She was like, yeah. I'm gonna put a hella more salt in here. Like, why would you do that?
So it's like, come on, lady, what did you up to? Abby, garlic overpowers the rosemary. Not enough salt, which informs its flat structure. In this case, the actual chemistry of the loaf was all Paul points out. You needed more salt, not just as a flavoring agent, but salt is what makes all this rise and do what it's supposed to do. The crust was, of course, good. And this is when Nan Prue shows up. This is Grandma Prue. Has Abby taste the crust and she's like, you see that crust? That crust is doing the thing, ain't you? She's like, yeah, it kind of is.
Because she saw her about to cry.
I again, I love that soft touch that Prue has. That good cop is always necessary after Paul come through with his shit, kicking down buildings. Josh, lovely color. Turned out quite lovely, quite nice, if you forgive me. Flavor's great, really lovely. Dan, if I saw this in a shop, you would cop it. Not me, is what I'm going to say. If I saw it in the shop, I'd be like, that shit look burnt. Please give me another one.
Burnt.
But they would, so there you go. The pesto sort of stayed in one place instead of swirling throughout. Interesting and delicious flavor and textures on point. Next time, post-proof, tossed in the mixer to get the pesto throughout. And I thought that was just solid advice. Plus, Paul Hollywood, my man tell me anything. I'm in the realm of bacon. I'm like, in the realm of bacon and making TV shows, I'm always going to listen to whatever Paul Hollywood got to say.
Especially bread. Write it down.
Which brings us to Tasha. Paul, before cutting it, says, I believe the seeds are going to lead to a dense dough. After the first bite, Prue says she'll be so proud of it. She did that, and again, this is my own notes, as Paul just sat there looking flabbergasted.
Hey,
just like, what the
how
fuck?
did you do that?
It is dense, but it's delicious. Not perfect, but almost 90%. What do you say, 90% there? Prue wishes she would have made it.
That's like, that. I have said that specifically about a couple of albums. Like, I wish I made this album. So I know, I feel her when she, like, this is me talking about, like, fucking this India Irie album, Voyage to India. I wish I made that album.
It's one of those things where when it speaks that loudly,
yeah,
it echoed through the rest of the show this week. So just be aware. Our technical challenge this week, set by Paul, 8 Devonshire splits, which are, in case you didn't know, lightly yeasted buns. They have a strawberry jam and whipped cream. Paul's version looks fancier than what the rest of the internet seems to do. 2.5 hours to complete. And this is where I'm going to jump back over to my notes. I was like, what is going on with a Devonshire split? Because I've never heard of it. Usually I at least get something going on, right? So there's a this is r/food porn if you were down with Reddit. And these guys like, I made a batch of Devonshire splits after watching this week's Bake Off. And people were just in the notes is like, Devonshire, they're always so pretty, but in reality, people in Devon just slap a bunch of too much clotted cream and jam on a wonky cut white bread. But these do look beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like a roll.
Straight up.
Like a dinner roll.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's so strange to me. But apparently, like I said, if you go look up Devonshire splits on the internet, my folk, and be like, oh, nobody does them like Paul does. That's a very, very specific Paul Hollywood variation of the thing. Most of them is just, if you would imagine that same damn roll, just cut cut across as opposed to, I don't know how you want to look at it, as opposed to cut down the center, cut like you would cut some bread, put some butter on. And then just a bunch of cream and some jam on that bitch. Because that's what everybody else in Devon is doing. Paul over here got fancy with it and was like, I need them shits to look like this. It's like, I guess, Paul, but everybody else in Devon is not doing that. Also, I like that people are from Devon and things that are from Devon are Devonshire. So,
no, I was looking at something. I was thinking maybe it's like a Charlotte Russe, but a Charlotte Russe is like a ladyfinger cake made with strawberries and cream instead of it's like a reverse tiramisu with strawberries instead.
Mm.
I'm still trying to. I'll think of it. Whatever that is, the American version was just cream and strawberries, but it's cut this way.
It's like shortcake. Or no,
it's something else. It's a bun. But I think of it.
Fair
These
enough.
look like a slider, like a little slider bun with some cream and some jam.
Yeah. So it's funny. You would not. I don't think I would ever have been thinking what Paul offered up. I'm like, yeah, it looked amazing. The ones that him and Prue was eating, I was like, that is gorgeous.
Who makes those?
That is yeah, he does. Mr. Hollywood makes them. No one else is really making that vibe. Although I did see, I sent y'all the thing Maxie made.
Yeah, those are gorgeous. I had to Google Charlotte Russe because all I know is the store in the mall.
I knew you were thinking it.
It's like, that name sounds so familiar.
Yeah, it's this movie called Once Upon a Time in America. And they used to, in the movie, they give a young lady Charlotte Russe's to have a good time with her. It was like in the 30s. Like, hey, or so, I think it's like in the 1920s. It's like this. It's a Jewish gangster movie. Sergio Leone's last film, if I'm not mistaken.
All righty then, let's judge it, y'all. Dana, irregular in shape, underproved, which you can tell by the cracks on the bottom. Soft inside with a lovely flavor. Dana is the flavor queen this year, y'all. And at least at every point, she seems to be on fire with that. Rowan, some a bit odd, small. One's peculiar, massively unapproved, very dense. Saku, good size, quite light, proved well. Cream a bit messy, but proves happy to have so much of it. I love that.
Wait, we did not talk about this when Dana's fucking mixer exploded. Yeah. That was in the first challenge. Was that in the signature?
Yeah, that's when she was making her cottage loaf.
I would have quit the show. Like this is the universe or God or whoever being like, go home.
Now, that is an immediate cut.
Yeah.
And then people who are very specific into how they clean up. That's why you ain't hear shit about them fucking with their time or anything.
Yeah.
Because they came, cleaned up that glass, cleaned up, made sure probably every dot of glass was removed just for safety concern.
And then everyone else had to stop and start over probably.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is just a reset.
Yeah, we'll do this again. That even happened.
It's random, yeah. And then I think, and then next you see it, it's the metal bowl on there, not that glass. So you never worry about that one again.
Yeah.
Also, KitchenAid, you should buy you some. Saying they're gonna be like, "Damn, you embarrassed me on TV."
Right.
You should be making better equipment. There you go. Abby, look like golf balls, dense, needed much longer proving.
My girl,
tasty, yeasty. I don't know how I describe it. Anything is tasting yeasty. I know what that flavor profile is, and like I just like no, thank you, no bueno. That's why I don't eat white bread. And I know that seems like such or whatever, but
yeasty to you.
Yeasty has a weird bite. Its structure is weird. Yeah, we have a real weird house here because Vanessa came up and still abide by white bread, and I ain't had white bread as my go-to in a very long time.
White bread is very specific for me, like some toast. I love a white bread toast.
It's exactly, literally what she uses it for. She's never whipping up sandwiches or anything like that. There is actually just toast, especially during the summer. It's tomato and toast. She's got a real children of depression kind of thing.
My dad was just cheap. That's how I like it. That's why I like it like that. Wonder bread too.
Oh my goodness. Christie's, neat and round, but a little small. Again, guess what? Not proved enough. Now, you, the viewer who probably watched this episode, you know what happens here. I know what happened here. We all know what happened here. But the judges didn't know what happened here. Dan, not sure what these are. Not round, flat, undermixed, crumbles instead of stretching. In here in my notes I wrote, the secret is Dan ain't put the damn caster sugar in there, y'all. Don't taste good, dry. Like Abby was like, Dan's already going in the oven. What's happening there? You know why Dan was in the oven first? Because he didn't put the damn sugar in. I want you to know something. This is another reason why I'm still so angry. Technical, they give you what you need.
All of it.
All the ingredients. So it's not like you could have, oh man, I left my shit at the house, man. It's on the counter. You have been provided everything you need to make this work. And then you just, why would I put that in there? It was upsetting. I want y'all to know that. Tasha, not bad. Again, underproved, meaning everybody who has done this, just about, will get you more. Lovely texture, though. Jam's good. Delicious. Needed the forgotten powdered sugar. She forgot to sprinkle powdered sugar on top again. So same, not so different than me yelling at Dan, because Dan forgot a key component of the recipe. Tasha forgot a little decoration, in my opinion. And that will show up. Josh, underproved. Large, nice flavor, nice jam. Nikki, underproved. Little small, not bad. Maddie, underproved. Neat, but blown. That means everybody underproved their...
That's crazy.
All of them. The entire lot of them underproved their bread in this particular challenge. And one person didn't make the right recipe. Your ranking is as follows. In last place, Dan, too small, underproved, a bit tough. The jam was good. Good job, bro. Rowan looks good until you turn them over, and then you see the issues. And 8 was Abby, meaning she was at the bottom of the table. 7 is Maddie. 6 is Christy. 5 is Nikki. 4 is Josh. 3 is Dana. 2 is Tasha. Very good, but no icing sugar, meaning she could have came in first had she just done that one thing.
That little flourish.
Bun, excellent. Well proved.
Come on, Auntie. Well. She was so happy to win this challenge that don't matter, but yay.
Yeah, so respect it.
I was so happy for her.
What we say about technical, until it don't. Our showstopper this week, a visually stunning plaited braided centerpiece. Oh, bread centerpiece. Plait means braids, in case y'all don't know that. Some people may not. I don't know. 4 hours to complete. Must use 2 different types of flour. Nick, Jew, were you showstopper this week?
For the most part, yes. Bread week is always my barometer for every showstopper because of that one year and somebody made like a lion. Like if you're not coming at least that hard, you haven't come. But this week I was, for the most part, I thought everybody had a spectacularly presentable showstopper.
At first, I was kind of wondering about Christie's, and then when I rewatched and hers was a 9 plat, I was like, oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Abby's favorite trees, what's his name? A walnut and Stilton trunk and branch. Stilton is an English cheese, apparently produced in 2 varieties. Blue, which means, blue cheese, and white, which is just, since it's going to be a sharper cheese, but, you know what I'm saying? Now that I kind of know the flavor note that they wanted, it tells me a little more. Walnut and blue cheese sound amazing together. In fact, I think I've had a salad like that before. So, yeah. The leaves are made from wild garlic and nettle. The mushrooms from dock flower, which are from the seeds of the curly dock, which is its scientific name, Rumex crispus, or patience dock, Rumex patientia.
Sound like she making a potion.
I want to tell y'all about dock seed flour. So I got you an article about that. Rich with nutty flavor, dock seed flour is something every forager should know about. Many will know dock as a cooked green, but its seeds and the papery husks that surround them are one of the best known wild flowers available to foragers. Today, I'll show you how to make dock seed flour and a few ways I use it in the kitchen. While there are many curly docks, so he had this information too. Cool. I feel good about having the scientific names. Rumex crispus is the most commonly used and is what I recommend. Patience docks, Rumex patientia, should work too. What I don't recommend is bitter dock / broadleaf dock, Rumex obtusifolius, pictured below. Curly dock is a perennial that can be weedy or invasive in places. You can find dock growing in disturbed areas and around disturbed. That is what the word is. Okay. And in gardens and field. After harvesting the young leaves in early spring, it's just a matter of time before the seeds are ready. The seeds are borne on long stalks that can reach 3 to 4 feet above the basal rosette. Each small seed is held inside of a 3-winged membrane or husk. It's easy to identify and can be gathered in large quantities. It's an interesting looking product. When you see it, you're like, oh man, I don't know if we grow dock in on this side of the pond, but I think it's a neat looking product. And like I said, there's a whole article here, and I guess I can, just share the damn screen and show you what dock look like.
Prue turned her face so screwed when she said she was using this kind of flour. She was like, why?
she didn't know. And so this is kind of
I
what
know
looks like
that looks
trash.
absolutely familiar.
it's a little closer up of it.
It looks like
Basically, you'll get them green and let them dry out and turn brown.
looks like something you throw away.
Roast it, and then hit them in that food processor, and boom. You know what I'm saying? Get your pepper, get your dock flour on.
it looks like every abandoned parking lot in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, when she said approve, I was like, what the fuck is dock?
Right. Why?
Okay, Forger girl, we'll see what you're doing. Rowan was going with a rowan tree made with sweet curry, wholemeal loaf, bacon and Parmesan crown, garam masala roots, and a marzipan challah trunk. Nikki, Angus the Highland cow. I want y'all to know, I was not. Oh, look. So like, as a concept, I was like, you bite my man's Highland cow style? But then she's like, yo, I fuck with Highland cows so hard. And then they show a picture of her hanging out with a Highland cow. And then I was like, okay, you really do fuck with Highland cows. So I couldn't be mad at her like she's biting my man Josh's style from week one. Because she really do go hard with the Highland cows, as it turns out. She talked about how she wants one just eating grass in her backyard. You know, excuse me, in her garden. In your back garden.
I love her so much.
Savory and sweet hair and ears with comté, cheese, and lardons. Horns, because that woman could not say horns to save her life.
Ooh, the language was whooping her ass. And it was her own language.
Horns made with pecans and dates. Let me tell you a little tale about comté cheese. Comté and Gruyere are essentially the same cheese, with the former being from the Comté region of France and the latter being from Switzerland. I know this because a few years back I started making this recipe called aligot, which is a French cheese and potato dish. It's basically, imagine, if you will, cheesy mashed potatoes, but it's way more effort than that, and it's disrespectful to call it that because it's like you said, once you see it, you be like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. I got that from the New York Times some years back, and it's been my little Thanksgiving go-to potato dish. So I'm hip to Comté and Gruyere, because in the recipe it was like, if you can't find the one, go get the other, because they are indeed, they're made the same exact same way, but basically like champagne can only be champagne.
I was just about
champagne.
to say
that. Gruyere is the sparkling wine of this particular cheese, and it's from Switzerland, so that's what's up. Saku made a peacock on a branch. Tail feathers were going to be made from a white dough flavored with garlic and rosemary. The branch it rests on is made from seeded spelt dough. And again, because I think we got to know, spelt or dinkel wheat or hold wheat is an ancient grain native to Southern Europe. It's a whole grain, high in protein, and has a nutty flavor. So put you on some spelt flour game. Dan, stuffed crust pizza. Dan intends to make multiple loaves to spell out the word pizza. Mozzarella, fennel, andouille sausages, smoked provolone cheeses, truffle salami, and truffle cheddar. That sounds all glorious.
So much dip on his chip. So much.
Far, far, far too much. Dana, tea beside the sea picnic basket made with green chutney dough, coriander, garlic and ginger, sun-dried tomato, and parmesan. Christy, honey and chocolate centerpiece made with honey glazed challah and almond flour, milk, and a dark chocolate babka. Tasha was going for a Medusa head, face and hands made from rye and wholemeal milk bread filled with pastrami and cheese. The snakes will be made from the aforementioned spelt dough, flavored with some pistachio and pesto.
And she covered her eyes so she wouldn't turn the judges to stone.
Maddie made West Ham United FC the Hammers logo. He made the shield. The shield is made with two different white doughs, one cheddar and jalapeno, the other sun-dried tomato and basil with red onion. With the hammers of this particular logo, made with spelt dough spiced with turmeric, cumin, and curry powder. If you know West Ham United, you are a Ted Lasso fan, and or I guess a football fan who knows them from footy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I know them as Nate's team. Josh made a tiger mascot based on the Leicester Tigers rugby team. Two in different enriched doughs, one flavored with cranberry and orange, the other chocolate and orange to create the tiger stripe effect with the braids.
I was about to
Real
correct
smart
your
idea.
pronunciation, but I think I'm wrong too, but I think it's Lester.
Right. If it's just Lester with all that in it,
Is there sheer at the end too?
it's Leceister.
Yeah, Lester.
It's like Worcestershire,
Yeah.
Leicester,
Yeah, I think.
England, you wild. Let us get to the judging. Josh is up first. I'm gonna read y'all. This is what they said to this man. Okay, so y'all hear this, and I want you, the listener, I want y'all to hear this and let it echo in your brain. Amazing, effective, well chosen dough, absolutely amazing, absolutely delicious, fantastic flavor, gorgeous. Managed the same texture in two different doughs. Very clever, ingenious, well thought out, and executed.
Sounds like a winner to me.
It sounds like the rest of y'all want to pack it up because my man Josh came through kicking down buildings. I did not appreciate the way this tiger looked, but I appreciate the idea of the tiger.
It was cool that he like made the braid so that it was the stripes with the two different braids. Like that was real clever.
Yeah. That must be respected.
The eyes looked crazy as hell.
But he had a
You saw him make like multiple ones too. To see, like he goes, one of these is gonna be right. We'll see which one it is. Nikki, overall look beautiful, really clever. No flavor in the pecan and date. My man was in the pecan and date horrends. My man was like, I got this big old hunk and it ain't nothing in here. You see this? That's 2 weeks straight. Nikki been like, I don't know, man.
All 3 weeks.
Don't be flavoring my shit. There you go. The commentating Lardon's loaf taste of cheese, but no bacon.
Damn. How you not get bacon to come through?
I would think bacon would be would beat the cheese out.
Yeah.
Bacon is just one of those things that's so present. But hey, the display is incredible. The distribution of the flavors is a miss. Maddie, love the design. Like a bit of art. So there's an arch that this in this West Ham logo, and that's what they use to try to test out his bread. And my man Prue was like, it's a bit biscuit. Paul says bone dry. So then they take a chunk off the shield. Much better structure, and Prue enjoys the chilies, and the bread is just beautiful. This man literally made two very different breads, and one of them was right, and one of them was all the way wrong. Saku looks great, quite striking, but the branch loaf is obviously underproved. They just point out like right here. You see how that's cracked right down there? That's underproved. This is the description they give you. Gluey in the mouth.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? Bland, dense. The tail flavor is on point, but the bread is dry.
It did look dope.
Impressive bread art. Disappointing to eat. Oh yeah. Because Saku is a goddamn artist. She just that style of a substance is going to be what gets her in the end. Promise you that. Rowan, again, this is one of the ones I gotta disagree with you on, Playboy. I gotta disagree.
What did he make
It looks
again?
fantastic. I don't think so.
I liked the tree.
A tree. A big ass tree.
It was a showstopper.
Cool. I did not. Looks fantastic. Wholemeal, sweet curry, strong, but the dough is raw. Crown has the same problem. Over flavored, so the yeast can't do its work, which is of course to make the bread rise. The marzipan trunk crust is delicious, but not delicious enough to make up for the rest of that tree tasting like it tasted. Inedible is how that will be. No. Just this side of inedible is what that tree will be described as later in this very episode.
I just don't understand how you make marzipan bread. It feels like sweet pretzel. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Dana is always flavor spot on. It lacks the crispness because it had to cool on top of the bowl. She wanted to cool on top of the bowl to prevent the bowl from collapsing, but in so developed a bunch of condensation, which makes the bread a little, the bread a little wet, which means you don't get the crispness of the bread. And that's what my man Paul is here for. Christy, beautiful, lovely challah. Flavor and texture good, both very good breads. Prue was a bit disappointed that it didn't fit inside it because it's 2 rings. She was trying to make these basically concentric rings that would fit one inside the other and therefore have a more of a centerpiece look. And instead, Christy was like, yeah, I'm just going to give you 2 separate ones and we'll just keep them moving. Abby, the design is rudimentary. The walnut and Stilton trunk needs more Stilton. Now that we know that Stilton is kind of a blue cheese flavor.
Gotta come through.
Well, okay. That should be a little more punchier. The wild garlic and nettle needs to be more open.
My dog.
The dock seed flower mushrooms have a pepperiness to them. Unusual flavors that Paul has never had before, and he likes that. Doesn't that all sound positive?
And do.
Yes, it does. Dan, these aren't baked.
Raw. They was raw. They was
I make
raw.
sure everything remains
pieces.
raw.
If I come to you on a baking show
it's raw.
with a large, I'm gonna go with like a 1.5 by 2.5 foot flat plate, and I bring you dough, and you tell me these aren't cooked. The color's wrong. Quite powerful, doughy, raw, has the makings of a good loaf. We all know he can do better. And the we as in these people on this podcast with me know he should have carried his ass home.
The funny thing is, when Paul calls something raw, it's still edible bread. He just mean the shit needed to cook for like 5 more minutes.
Not this one.
The half of the word pizza hit the oven for maybe 3 minutes. At most 5.
Raw. Keep that back in your head. Once again, saving the best for last. Tasha, beautiful. A work of art. Hands beautifully braided. Face a real expression that looks sinister. The snake hair clever. A wee bit too dark, but the strong, fresh pesto flavor. Tasha, you are one hell of a baker. That's Miss Prue Leaf. Paul, stunned. I've never had anything like this before. The flavor's good. The texture's good. You understand bread. And Paul fucks with that. And these are my own notes. I would not be surprised if this man took this child under his wing and mentored her and brought her in to bake for his team. You know what I'm saying? Too good a baker to just be like getting a plate. And that's assuming she get a plate at the end. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? She could have went home tonight. But I'm just saying, you come through like that, you impress Paul Hollywood like that twice in this very same episode, at the top and the bottom.
I know I bring it up every week, but this is why RuPaul get his makeup and wigs done by former contestants.
Again, if it's gonna be that, if you're gonna be that dope, if you're gonna meet all these dope,
join
people,
my team.
Yo, you got again. I just go back to that signature, and I was just like, yeah, everybody else doing this, and she just like signs. I can't, so she used the thermometer. No one else used the thermometer.
Yeah,
or if somebody did, it was on the low. Science, baby. Baking is sometimes just that.
Which is why I don't bake.
I was watching somebody watch a react to Abbott Elementary, and it was the one where she was teaching an old girl to cook. And she's like, isn't cooking like jazz? She goes,
no,
Dizzy Gillespie, it is not. Sometimes this shit is science, and sometimes science gets you star baker, and in this case it did. Tasha is once more our star baker. That's 2 out of the 3. Sent home is Abby, and I'm about to be yelling justice for Abby.
I demand a recount.
I was never more upset. And I get it. She came in the bottom of the table in the tech, but again, tech don't seem to count. Because that motherfucker came in last in tech.
He had raw bread. Like, not even underdone.
Raw.
Like, not even Paul Hollywood being dramatic. Like, you needed to leave this bread in the oven for 5 more minutes. The bread hadn't even crushed.
And not only that,
his signature was so good that it got him through to next week.
Nope.
Not only that, he did those folded crackers to as part of the pizza. It was just like,
if we keep it
like
being,
we forgot. He ran out of dough. I didn't even mention that.
And he didn't even have braids. It was like a twist. It was a 2-strand twist.
A 2-step twist.
Sorry, Aunt. We're emotional. Finish what you were saying.
Like, I watched it one time. I was like, oh, okay. I seen it. And then I was like, oh, no, Abby got robbed. Then the second time I watched, I'm like, okay, I can see where they're coming from. But then the third time I watched it, it was just like, no, man. No.
If you go type in, Series 14, Episode 3, the internet is mad too.
I never peek into what the internet is talking about for this show because I'm always afraid to get spoiled. But I'm glad to know that it's not just
the
us.
internet is ready to burn that tent down with the. It's not. I'm not that far gone, but I am upset, and I truly feel like she was robbed
next week all over again.
Apparently, who was it? Somebody wrote about can the Great British Bake Off be good again? I'm like, y'all are wilding.
It's amazing. It's an amazing show. I just don't agree with the judging.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for Tasha. Obviously, I'm Team Tasha. I think that Saku will probably be next to go because they just don't like her bakes ever.
I feel like it should be, in my opinion,
or
Nikki should be the next to go.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Dana's flavors can only save her so long. And usually that will be around episode 5.
And Rowan due for a star breaker.
No.
Rowan.
No.
Home.
Josh. You mean Josh?
Oh, Rowan. Oh, yeah, sorry. I keep mixing. Not that I mix them up. I just completely forget about Josh. His bakes are always wonderful. Him, the person, I can't tell you what he looked like at all. But Rowan almost carried his ass home.
Yeah,
as well.
I kind of feel like Rowan is probably going to go home. Like, it could have been like, I feel like Dan will probably get himself together this week. He'll probably dig deep.
He better.
But Rowan, it seemed like, I don't know, his shit be too whimsical. Like, I'm gonna.
He be struggling,
baby. I don't know.
Yeah,
I need Dan to get it together. Like, maybe this was just not. Maybe he's not a bread guy.
But he said he couldn't wait for bread week because that's when he was going to show out.
Until he couldn't.
He did not. He showed out all right.
So should have been shown the damn door. I'm very upset about this still. It is a little too fresh in my mind.
Yeah, he stunk it up. Poor thing.
Just really, really, really stunk up the joint. And my man.
Maybe that's why they kept him, because they know he's a bread guy and they figured he just had a terrible week. But what Abby did to y'all, that she couldn't have gotten another chance. I don't like that. Justice for Abby.
Justice for the foreigner.
And she cried.
Maybe that's what it was. Like, you
it's a quick crying. Take your ass home.
British, stiff upper lip and all that raw. Yeah. Disrespectful, but I can follow her, so that's fun. I'll have to go dig her up on one. I don't know. I don't think she seemed like she wouldn't be in these social media streets.
Yeah, she too crunchy, my dude.
Yeah. So
she probably has but her whole shit is dedicated to foraging.
That's how she rolls to get down.
There's a black lady who forages on
she's
TikTok.
From Columbus, Ohio. Yes, we get down with her in this house. That's folk. But what would be our question of the week?
I want to know, maybe for the poll, if other people like sweet bread.
Okay. I put sweetened because sweetbreads is a whole different thing.
Yes. We're not trying to PETA, don't come for me.
No awful in these streets, people. Question of the week. I'm basically gonna be real with you, man. Dan should have went home. That's gonna be what I'm writing for question of the week. Dan should have gone home. Should have left is what I put there. And that's what's that.
Right. Like, even if they said he was not the one to go home, he should have been like, no.
Yeah.
It's a Macklemore situation. It's an Adele situation. I'm going home.
I need you to go apologize to Kendrick, okay? Just okay.
Immediately.
So
break it. Break the Grammy. Give it to Beyonce right now.
You know, this show is hosted over on Spotify, and because of that, there's a little extra built-in interactivity over on Spotify. And so then I have to go click the button that says only show episodes with Q&A replies. And then so we have a couple of replies on the various Q&As. One of them is from
Yay.
Big Brunch, season 1, episode 1.
Yay.
And that is, thank you for the pod. Have you seen the Great Canadian Baking Show? Have not.
What?
If you like Dan Levy and GBBO, he produced and hosted the first 2 seasons of the Canadian version.
What?
It's available on Daily Motion.
I don't know.
That's like a YouTube knockoff.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's easy to get to. And
Okay. Thank you.
And this one said, this question was from Great American Baking Show, season 6, episode 4. Where does the Midwest begin? And this person says, this is Bevy19, says, it starts from Wyoming and Colorado and goes through Ohio. It includes Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. Maybe the Dakotas. We disagree on this strong. The Midwest begins, I'm going to tell you, probably just after Cleveland. So Ohio going this way, but not Michigan. I don't count Michigan as the Midwest. It is its own thing. So Michigan, you're going to skirt underneath it. It goes all the way.
So Wikipedia, sir, says Nebraska, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Michigan, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, Wisconsin, which is probably where this person got that from.
Yeah, I can sign off on that. But Wyoming, Colorado, so on, those are the Rocky Mountains, and they are not Midwest. We disagree on that. Now let me push the word publish, because I have to publish that particular commentary.
It's interesting when you see it like highlighted on the map. I could see why somebody would want to push it over to the left slightly, because it's not really the middle or the west of the country geographically. It's like the mid north.
Oh, here's another one that I didn't know we had. This is from Big Brunch season 1, episode 5, Fine Dining Brunch. The question was scallions in a dessert. And June Mo 41 said, "Why? No, just no." Thank you, June Mo.
Hey, Miss June, thank you for listening.
And let me scroll. See, look, they be here, and I don't be knowing about them, because, like, again, they don't tell us these things exist, and I need to publish the one about Canadian baking. There we go. We also, of course, got hit up on the email. If you want to email us, this podcast at stacecrunchybilk.com. That is the email address for the show. And email we did get, so let me crack that bad boy open. I'm going to tell you something. I've been waiting on this email. Frank, I've been waiting on you, baby.
Frank, I was wondering.
The subject of this email is comments from the latest GBBO podcast. Greetings all. So happy to hear you podcasting on the show again. I look forward to your comments about the Bread Week episode. Paul made some brutally memorable comments. Agree. And most of them about Rowan. I don't ever recall him using the word monstrous before.
Monstrous.
Also, I know some fans are unhappy about who got eliminated, us included. The winner was another tough call. Disagree. I feel like Tasha handled that. I know Josh came through, but still, aesthetically, I prefer Josh's. It was on par with the lion from season 6.
I agree.
Since it was mentioned, you sometimes get to see the Channel 4 rendition. That's the version I see. Dope. I wonder if any of you caught the follow-up show that comes in later week, The Great British Bake Off and Extra Slice. I've told y'all about that. It's a good little something. They lob their zingers on the show, and they usually show pictures of people's attempts at baking, and people often send things they know are hilariously bad for everyone's entertainment. Also, the discussion about the relevance of the techno challenge made me think of the guy David who won season 10, the only champion to never get Star Baker. However, most of the time he kicked ass on the technical, coming in either first or second. Thanks for your hard work, and thank you for the hard work and you do to put on a good show, Frank. Frank, thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you, Frank.
Been waiting on you, baby. It's like, I know my man Frank gonna come through. And come through you did. I'm grateful for it. Thank you for that. And like I said, if you want to get down, you can give us a call at 216-264-6311. You can also text that number. And like I said, the email address is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Works like a champ, as you can tell. Let's see. We sometimes have commercials in the show now. I know some of y'all might be like, man, wow, it's commercial showing up in this. So far, it's only showing up on Spotify. But I gave y'all this on this week's episode some breaks, so I knew where to put commercials at. Thank you, Rob from Blackout Tips, for saying how that's what he does. I was like, it makes perfect sense, and so now I know exactly where I say put commercials here if you're gonna put them anywhere, and that is where they will go.
Oh, so then they don't just like interrupt a conversation.
Correct.
Okay,
I have a point where I say cut. I'm like, that's a good place to stop that.
Which is funny because sometimes they don't abide by that, and then it's just like music.
Yeah. But if it works like it's supposed to work, you'll get a couple of nice little jams. I got all these songs from I go to a website called Upbeat. They're all the links to those songs are always in our show notes because they have to be. It's part of the process of the agreement of agreeing to use Upbeat tracks. They say, "Hey, man, give us a shout out," and I do. So, but if you dig those sounds. The links are right there in the show notes. And also, I would tell you, if you think you need some music for some things, go check out Upbeat. It's a pretty good site. I was very happy with it. So you get like 3 free downloads a month, and if you want to pay for it, you can too. They have some good deals popping off there. So that way you are made fully aware of how this show functions. I don't know what next week is. Y'all know what next week is?
No.
I wonder, can I look without messing up? All right, here. I'm going to click on this link, which takes me to.
I would not do that. Just go to.
Well,
Netflix.
no. So I'm clicking on GBBO. So I'm on Channel 4 site, but I can't watch it because I'm not in England, and
right.
They don't even have this episode up yet. So I can't watch it anyway because it just came out earlier today. So can't tell you what next week's episode is. Excited about it because I think that was when I thought the fourth one was when they started doing like the theme week, and I'm glad that doesn't exist anymore.
I wish that they had like a great Mexican baking show, and they do English week, and it just be like bland stuff.
Just disrespect. That's perfectly that's perfect. You've made an excellent rendition of this nonsense.
An English muffin.
Man.
English muffins are really, really bad.
They're fine. Crumpets are fine.
They
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they you put some everything. You throw some little butter, throw a little jam or something on there, you'll be all right, man. But we'll be back next week for whatever the theme is. Worry not. Get down. Reach out to us however you think you wish to. Celebrate this show. Tell us what you think, your thoughts on the situation. It's always a good time to be had. That is Nick Jew.
I really don't have like anyone that I'm lusty over this season. That's sad.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think Dana's a cutie pie, but I'm not like, oh, let me get some of that Dana.
Because Sandro was just kind of the mountaintop. I just don't think that we'll ever
get
close.
Uncomfortably handsome. Some dudes you're like, I don't feel good. You too pretty.
Yes.
Stop that, sir. That's my man's aunt.
Yes, good night. I plan on making a peach cheesecake pretty soon.
I want to make that Biscoff one we saw. So we'll see if that all works itself out. Oh, I am your host. I'm the internet's. I'm one of your hosts. Don't get it twisted. Everybody fucking carries their weight around here, okay? I am the internet's Rail 713. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.